If you are exploring the cloud ERP systems, they come in all shapes and sizes. Typically, cloud is a very complex concept. So, which are the systems, the cloud ERP systems that are top in 2023? That's what we are going to discuss in this video. So, let's dive in. Hello everyone, my name is Sam Gupta. I am principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent ERP and digital transformation consulting firm. We help our clients that might be undertaking any digital transformation initiatives from the strategy phase to planning to discovery to business case development to implementation. On that note, let's get back to today's topic, which is going to be top 10 cloud ERP systems in 2023. To compile this list, we look at several different factors. For example, the market share in the cloud market, we are going to look at the richness of the cloud functionality. What is cloud for these systems? Whether they were the legacy systems and simply replaced their front end layer, or they replaced the whole stack, or re-architected, or they simply tried to bundle as the cloud offering without changing much from the technology perspective. So we have analyzed all of these factors and come up with this list. So now let's look at the list. Number 10 on our list is Odoo. Odoo targets small to medium size businesses that are going to require the global cloud native solution. In general, it is not designed for very large, complex, operationally complex companies. It is the open source platform. So the companies that might be looking to save from the licensing perspective might be a better fit for Odoo. Some of the strengths for Odoo is going to be the globalization functionality. And Odoo, when you look at the product, it's primarily the accounting solution. Yes, it has the CRM capabilities and some ERP capabilities as well, but the layers of ERP functionality is not going to be as deep as some of the other ERP systems that we have on the list. So the strength for Odoo is going to be that global functionality. It is localized and globalized in more than 50 countries. So obviously, when you are going to be in geographies such as Europe or South America, Odoo is going to be a great fit. Sometimes in those countries, you might not find the other mainstream ERP systems. So especially from the accounting perspective, this could be a great solution. The user experience is one of the best across the ERP systems. So if you are purely buying for the user experience, that cloud native experience, the mobile experience, then Odoo is probably going to be a better fit. The weakness for Odoo is going to be the last mile capabilities, the industry capabilities, and the business consulting expertise in the Odoo ecosystem is going to be fairly limited. And sometimes their pitch is going to be, hey, you know what? You can develop all of these capabilities just because of this open source concept, but you require far deeper subject matter expertise to be able to execute. You require far deeper project management capabilities to be able to plan for these initiatives. Otherwise, you are going to experience the failure with Odoo implementations. So if you have that, if you have very deep IT organization internally and you have experience in executing these transformation initiatives, Odoo could be a great fit. Otherwise, you might struggle with Odoo. That said, Odoo is still a very strong cloud ERP system in 2023, and that's why it ranks at number 10 on our list. Number 9 on our list is Plex. Plex targets automotive, food and beverage, and the life sciences companies. For the most part, their target market is really the automotive companies that are going to be global. They were primarily present in the Toyota ecosystem, and they have recently launched the functionality for Ford ecosystem as well. Plex is a very unique solution just because it takes very MES focused approach. It was MES first, and then they developed the ERP functionality as well. So if you care for that MES experience, then Plex is going to be a great fit. For the most part, Plex was the cloud native solution, even though if you compare this among the cloud native categories, the API may not be as cloud native, the mobile experience may not be as good as some of the other cloud native platforms, but for the most part, Plex started as the cloud system, so it is still a very strong cloud solution if you're looking for that. The strength for Plex is going to be it was born in the cloud, so obviously they are not going to have the same limitations as some of the legacy platforms that might be pretending to be cloud. The manufacturing and MES capabilities are probably one of the strongest, and the automotive last mile functionality is also going to be one of the strongest. The weaknesses for Plex is the ecosystem. The install base is really limited. The consulting capacity, you are only going to find very few partners. So for the most part, you are relying on Plex to provide the support. So that could be a limitation for Plex. Now, the solution is focused. If you are pure play in the Toyota ecosystem, in your Ford ecosystem, then it might be okay. Even in the manufacturing ecosystems, the solution could be very limited. If you are looking for the hybrid manufacturing capabilities or mixed mode manufacturing, and if your business is going to have many layers of distribution construction, then this could struggle. And it is probably not going to be a right fit for companies that might be very involved with the M&A cycle, just because you don't know about your business model, which companies, which capabilities you are going to acquire. So it's very hard to be certain about your future state. And for those scenarios, Plex may not be the right fit. Having said that, Plex is still a very strong cloud ERP solution in 2023, and that's why it ranks at number 9 on our list. Now, number 8 on our list is the solution called IFS. And IFS targets very asset-centric, MRO-centric organization. When you look at the airline ecosystem, when you look at some of the aerospace and defense ecosystems, they are not going to be as strong with the mixed mode manufacturing capabilities. But when you look at the asset management functionality, or when you look at the PSA functionality, resource scheduling functionality, the field service capabilities, that's where it is really strong. The other strengths of IFS is going to be it's a very European solution, so North American presence is going to be limited. The user experience as well as the interface is very cloud native in general. So that's the strength of IFS. The best of breed field service capabilities are probably, you are not going to find those capabilities even with some of the strongest solution. So asset management and field service, if you are really deep into those capabilities and you require a solution, and sometimes IFS is used with some of the other mainstream ERP systems, SAP, Oracle, for their field service as well as asset management capabilities, because they are really strong in those two areas. The weaknesses for IFS is going to be ecosystem, especially if you look at their North American presence, it's going to be limited. The partner ecosystem is not as strong in general globally. So ecosystem is definitely going to be a factor for IFS. The limited focus of the solution, just because they are so focused on certain industries, if you're looking for diverse capabilities, that's where they are going to be limited. And even IFS may not be the best fit for companies that might be actively involved in the M&A cycle, just because of the uncertainty of the future state. Having said that, IFS is still a very strong cloud solution, and that's why it ranks at number 8 on our list. Now, number 7 on our list is Acumatica. Acumatica targets small to medium-sized businesses, especially if those businesses are going to be very North American focused. Acumatica as a solution targets manufacturing, construction, distribution, retail, as well as field service verticals. The strength for Acumatica is going to be it was born in the cloud, so obviously the interface is very cloud native. It is going to have all the bells and whistles that you would expect in a cloud native solution. The other strength for Acumatica is going to be it's just one product. It's designed really well overall from the product perspective. The other capabilities that you need for example, let's say if you are manufacturing, distribution, construction, and you are a very diverse business, you need all of these capabilities as part of one solution. The solution is designed from scratch to host all of these capabilities as part of one product. You don't need another product. So you are not going to have all of those reconciliation issues, the conflict issues between the system, the integration issues. So that's where Acumatica is really good. The other strength of Acumatica is the consumption-based pricing. The marketplace ecosystem is one of the strongest in general. The weaknesses for Acumatica is the globalization capabilities. So even though from the business model perspective, it's a very strong solution, but let's say if you are going to be present in multiple countries, the communication and collaboration between those entities may be limiting. So you are always going to have pros and cons with every single solution. So if you are a very North American focused company with diverse business model, Acumatica could be a great fit. But let's say if you are a pure play business and you require global capabilities, Acumatica may not be the best fit. Then ability to handle larger workloads. So Acumatica targets very small companies. It's going to be roughly 10 million to $50 million businesses. Sometimes Acumatica may be installed with much larger businesses as well, up to $1 billion. But sometimes when you look at these case studies or the businesses that might be using Acumatica for larger workloads, sometimes they are using it only for the financial reporting. So that's not the right comparison. Overall, from the transactional workload perspective, from the operational capacity perspective, the sweet spot for Acumatica is going to be in that 10 million to roughly $100 million revenue range. That's where Acumatica really shines. And Acumatica may not be a great fit for companies growing through M&A. If your M&A is primarily North America based and you know that your M&A is going to be in that manufacturing, distribution, construction space, then you are going to be okay. But if you are going to be outside of that, then Acumatica may struggle as well. And that's why it might not be the best fit for the companies going through the M&A cycle. Having said that, Acumatica is still a very strong cloud solution, and that's why it ranks at number 7 on our list. Number 6 on our list is Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. And Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central also targets small to medium-sized businesses. Overall, from the product perspective, it has deep supply chain capabilities built as part of the product. So it can host a lot of global entities in one solution. But overall, if you look at the deep ERP capabilities, it's not designed for the larger organizations. For those larger organizations, you probably are going to use a lot of add-ons in general with Business Central. The strength for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, it is really designed for global companies. So if you require the global capabilities, but you don't care as much for the operational capabilities, or for the operational capabilities, you are going to be using another operational solution, then, and you are utilizing ERP for that financial layer, that's where Microsoft 365 Business Central really shines. The other strength for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central is going to be complex distribution retail organization will like that just because of the inbuilt functionality for those organizations. And it's really ideal for companies going through M&A cycle just because it can offer a lot. You have the marketplace and ecosystem where you can acquire a lot of capabilities that can act as the extension for the solution, but the deep financial layer is going to be global in nature. So you are never going to run out of options when you might be going through the M&A cycle. The weakness for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central is the limited last mile capabilities. You will need to either develop, customize, or use one of the add-ons present in the ecosystem. The fortunate part with BC is that you have several options available, so you can always swap them out if you like. And the other weaknesses for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central is the overall technical focus of the solution and the limited consulting expertise in the Microsoft ecosystem in general. So let's say if you are looking for the Sarbanes-Oxley compliance or the financial governance processes financial risk processes, that's where you might struggle with the Microsoft solutions because they are not naturally designed for these workflows. It's a very technical solution, developer focused, and it is going to give you a lot of flexibility in customizing the solution, but then it comes at the expense of these financial processes. So you need to determine whether you are looking for slightly more customizable solution or you are looking for a solution where financial control is going to be your priority. And if the technical flexibility of the solution is priority for you, then this could be a right fit. The other weakness for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central is the limited Microsoft support for smaller partners. The way Microsoft ecosystem is structured with the other ERP ecosystems, the other ERP companies have far more control on their partners. The way their processes are structured, they hold their partners accountable for the implementation. In the case of Microsoft, they are selling this as more of the technical software, so they don't really have any sort of control, especially on the smaller partners. They are not going to have the support available, so they might struggle. They might take shortcuts in implementing that, and because of that, you might struggle with the implementation. Having said that, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central is still a very strong cloud solution, and that's why it ranks at number 6 on our list. Number 5 on our list is Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O. Microsoft 365 F&O is the large solution from Microsoft, and it targets companies that are going to be over a $500 million in revenue to up to $3-4 billion. And it has very deep capabilities to be able to accommodate the processes of these larger organizations. Now, when you look at the strength of Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O, it's designed for those larger organizations. It has the native inbuilt workflows to be able to accommodate the processes of those larger organizations. The other strength for F&O is going to be the embedded WMS and TMS processes as part of the solution. Now, depending upon your business model as well as architecture, sometimes those embedded WMS, TMS capabilities might be okay, and you might require those, but in other cases, you might require a completely decoupled WMS TMS architecture just because your ERP layer may be completely different from your OMS layer, ERP layer may be completely different from your WMS TMS layer. Sometimes you might have 3PL in your business model and you might require completely different warehouse architecture. So that's where the embedded WMS TMS capabilities might be helpful for certain businesses, might be overhead for other businesses that do not require the WMS and TMS processes as part of the ERP solution. So again, depending upon your business model, depending upon the architectural needs, this could be a fit or may not be a fit. Now, the other strength for Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O is that it combines the process, discrete, as well as PSA capabilities all as part of the same solution. So if you are going to be a very diverse organization, or if you are involved in the M&A cycle, that's where Microsoft Dynamics 365 is probably one of the strongest for the product-centric organizations in general in the cloud. The weaknesses for Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O will be that it may not be the best fit for publicly traded companies because of that technical perspective of the solution. The financial traceability is not going to be as natural. It's not going to be as intuitive. So that's why you might struggle with the publicly traded companies. Ability to handle MRP runs of Fortune 500. The transactional workload that Microsoft Dynamics 365 can handle may be limited to the upper mid-market. When you look at the complex BOMs, complex MRP runs of those larger organizations, Microsoft Dynamics 365 may not be the best fit. And sometimes when you hear the case studies as well as the stories of these larger organizations using Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O, they might not be utilizing this for manufacturing for the MRP runs. They might be utilizing only for the finance and accounting layer. And sometimes that could be misleading for companies exploring the solution that, okay, I know a Fortune 50 company using Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O. Can I use that? If you are going to be utilizing and hosting all of your MRP processes and you have very complex BOMs, it might struggle just because, it does not have the capabilities to be able to handle those large workloads. The other weakness for Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O, it's overwhelming for the smaller organization. So if you are going to be in that $50-100 million range, this might not be the best solution for you. Having said that, Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O still a very strong cloud solution for large companies, and that's why it ranks at number 5 on our list. Now, number 4 on our list is Oracle Cloud ERP. Oracle Cloud ERP has very similar market as your Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O. For the most part, Oracle ERP targets very large companies, and it is richer in its capabilities for the financially regulated organization. It is typically used as the financial layer in the service-centric organizations. The sweet spot for Oracle Cloud ERP is going to be the universities, the public sector organizations. It's going to be the service-centric organization, the telco. That's where Oracle Cloud ERP really shines because of the deep financial capabilities. It's not going to have as deep capabilities for the product-centric organization. When you talk about handling the large workloads of Fortune 500, when you talk about the MRP runs of Fortune 500, Oracle Cloud ERP may not be the best fit. The strength for Oracle Cloud ERP is designed for large service organizations. It also has the embedded WMS and TMS processes, and these WMS TMS processes may be okay for the service-centric organizations, but may not be okay for the product-centric organizations, especially if they are going to have the 3PL as part of their business model. They are going to have completely isolated OMS, WMS, TMS layer. That's where it might struggle a little bit. It has support for the financial risk management, the CPM, the analytics is built and integrated as part of the solution. So that's where it really shines. Now, the weakness for Oracle Cloud ERP is the limited capabilities for product-centric companies. It's not really designed for those, especially when you talk about the large product-centric companies. It's designed for those service-centric companies. Ability to handle the MRP runs of Fortune 500, that's where it is probably going to struggle. So if you're a service-centric organization, very large Fortune 50, Fortune 100, Oracle Cloud ERP could be a great fit. But if you're a product-centric organization, it may not be the best fit. Overwhelming for the smaller organization, just because the size of solution is very large in general. Having said that, Oracle Cloud ERP still a very strong cloud solution in 2023, and that's why it ranks at number 4 on our list. Now, number 3 on our list is SAP S/4HANA Cloud. SAP S/4HANA targets the product-centric companies. It has one of the richest product model for the product-centric companies. And when you are looking at the MRP workload of those Fortune 50, Fortune 100 companies, that's where SAP S/4HANA really shines. The other strength for SAP S/4HANA is going to be the capabilities of HANA. HANA in general is far more powerful for the MRP runs of those large complex organizations. Every other solution in the market, they are not going to have the same capabilities as HANA, and that's why they struggle with those large workloads. In the case of HANA, it has far superior performance of those complex MRP runs. And when you are going to be very deep in your SKU mix for the product-centric organizations. The other strength for SAP S/4HANA is the best of breed capabilities, pre-integrated, as well as the financial traceability for the larger organization when you are going to have all of those global units. And when you are looking at the financial traceability of all of those organizations, it's built as part of the solution. And the reason why SAP is able to do this is because of the capabilities of HANA that other solutions are not going to have. The weaknesses for SAP S/4HANA Cloud is the limited last mile capabilities that you either have to build it yourself or you have to find add-ons, customizations, or add-ons from VARs. So the last mile capabilities are not going to be there. So SAP S/4HANA is not a good fit if you don't have the internal IT, if you don't have the IT budget to be able to develop these capabilities on top of your SAP S/4HANA Cloud. The other weakness for SAP S/4HANA is the limited capabilities of the cloud version as well as the marketplace options. So right now, if you compare their on-prem version and cloud version is behind. So you might not get the same capabilities that you might find in the on-prem version. So again, if you are looking for that deep operational capabilities as part of the cloud solution. You might not get that. You may either need to get the add-ons or you need to develop it yourself. So that's going to be a weakness. It's definitely overwhelming for a smaller organization. So if you are going to be lower than $500 million, then SAP S/4HANA Cloud may not be the best fit for you. Having said that, SAP S/4HANA Cloud is still a very strong solution, and that's why it ranks at number 3 on our list. Number 2 on our list is NetSuite. And NetSuite targets small to medium-sized businesses. And the strength of NetSuite is going to be that global functionality as well as the operational capabilities, especially for the service as well as product-centric organization. So NetSuite in general is one of the most developed product in the cloud for the small to medium-sized businesses. The strength for NetSuite is going to be the support for both product and service-centric companies. It has very deep support. The marketplace and ecosystem is one of the strongest, even comparing it with some of the bigger solutions. The marketplace and ecosystem is going to be one of the largest. And ideal for global companies, the localization and globalization that NetSuite has, it's ideal for companies that might be going through the M&A cycles, just because you are going to get the breadth of the global capabilities. So if you are acquiring a lot of companies, irrespective of whether you are acquiring the service-centric organization or product-centric organization, NetSuite can support a lot of different business models. The weaknesses with NetSuite is going to be the patchy user experience. Okay, so if you're looking for pure play cloud native experience, NetSuite, the way it has evolved as a solution, it's not as cloud native as some of the other cloud native variants on this list. The design is not as elegant as you are going to find with Acumatica, Sage Intacct, Plex. They have superior design overall from the solution perspective. The other weakness that NetSuite has is it's not as friendly for the B2C business models, just because the B2C business model, the way NetSuite approaches B2C business models is you will have to store the B2C data as part of your ERP, and that could have significant risk overall in storing these millions and millions of the consumer records as part of your NetSuite, and it might outgrow very quickly, and that's where it's not as friendly for those B2C centric business models, even though a lot of B2C centric business models may be using NetSuite as of today, but they are likely to outgrow very quickly just because of the amount of heavy lifting that is going to be required in hosting these B2C data sets in a very complex B2B data model. The omni-channel as well as the unified experience may be trickier as well with NetSuite, just because, you know, of everything is sort of flowing through NetSuite. And when you are looking for that OMS layer, that needs to be as part of NetSuite. If you're looking for that pre-integrated OMS layer with NetSuite, either you are not going to be utilizing some of the NetSuite capabilities, or you are going to be hosting in the other system. So you are going to be paying unnecessarily for the capabilities that might be there with NetSuite. And the manufacturing capabilities are substantially limited as well with NetSuite. So that's a challenge. But having said that, NetSuite is one of the strongest cloud products in 2023, and that's why it ranks at number 2 on our list. Now, number 1 on our list is Sage Intacct product. Sage Intacct product targets the service-centric businesses. When you look at not-for-profit, construction, when you look at the software, tech, media, these are the organizations that Sage Intacct targets. Now, the strength with Sage Intacct is going to be, this is probably the only AICPA certified solution. And if you are looking for that financial solution that is going to be for the public-centric organizations, you are looking for the financially regulated workflows, and you are looking for a solution that is going to be localized and globalized in more than 100 countries, that's where Sage Intacct really shines. The other strength with Sage Intacct is that it has very deep subscription-centric capabilities. Now, you might find these subscription-centric capabilities with NetSuite as well, but the, for example, let's say if you look at the KPIs, that are going to be relevant for software-centric organizations, or for the media, for the ads, or for the not-for-profit centric organization. Sage Intacct has far more capabilities pre-baked as part of the solution. The other strength for Sage Intacct is going to be that most of these organizations, they are also going to have best of breed architecture. In general, they don't like to host all of these processes as part of the ERP solution. So for example, let's say if you look at the majority of the software, tech, media, they most likely are going to be using Salesforce. And if you look at construction, they are most likely going to be using Procore. And if you look at the retail organization, they are going to be using some sort of OMS. So Sage, for example, owns Bright Pearl, which has far easier data model for the B2C centric organization. It can cover all of those scenarios, from your BOPIS to ROPIS to your micro fulfillment to the newer retail centric organization. And even in retail, the role of ERP in general is very limited. So if you are going to have an ERP that is going to be very deep in the inventory, most of the retail organizations, the e-commerce organizations, they don't necessarily use the ERP capabilities for the inventory. Now, depending upon the product type, Sage Intacct may not be the best fit for the industrial verticals, where you are going to have very thick processes from the post-transaction perspective. But if you are looking for pure play B2C verticals, pure play retail verticals, Sage Intacct is probably a better fit. The weaknesses for Sage Intacct is going to be the manufacturing and the industrial distribution capabilities are not there, because it is not really targeted for those verticals. The supply chain capabilities natively in the solution are going to be limited, but depending upon what architecture you are trying to build, if you have slightly more best of breed architecture, then Sage Intacct is a superior fit and not designed for the larger enterprises. And the sweet spot for Sage Intacct is going to be those mid-market organizations. Having said that, Sage Intacct is still a very strong cloud solution, and that's why it ranks at number 1 on our list. If you enjoyed this video, we are going to include the detailed article, so don't forget to check the link. This podcast is also available in the audio format on Google, Spotify, and Apple. So don't forget to check, as well as subscribe there. We publish these videos on a weekly basis, so you might hit the subscribe button. And if you have not checked our digital transformation report for 2023, we are going to include the link. So you may want to check that. On that note, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.